You know, Aisha, sometimes I miss my childhood. I mean, I miss the days where, my father would say, "Girl, get out there, roll around the dirt, already, get dirty and get tough and
Yeah,
enjoy
go
your childhood."
play outside. That's what the parents back in the day used to say.
Exactly.
Yes, although things have changed drastically, I am quite envious of what of all the resources that are available to kids nowadays.
Absolutely. I mean, the ways in which our child gets educated, they're improving in leaps and bounds. So how about push this theory to parents out there? What if you could teach your children without textbooks? Teach them to think critically, teach them to make up their own minds at a young age. Is that even possible here in Malaysia?
I believe so.
There you go.
I think it is. And you know what, since you said, world without books, yes, some people are still very nostalgic about, books, bound books and paper. But you know what? I think kids nowadays are learning how to use the internet as a tool, for education to learn things.
Absolutely.
And I think it's, number one, you don't need a big space for it. All in your laptop.
Saving the paper, that's for sure. But more importantly is building a strong foundation right from an early age. Teach them how to think instead of feeding them that information. Of course, to speak more about this, we have Dr. Michael Chen, who's coordinator of the MYP International Baccalaureate Middle Years Program with Fairview School, and we have him right here. Thank you, Doctor, for coming in early in the morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Now, we were just chatting about that earlier, that how the education system has changed back from our day. What, you're no longer relying too much on the book. Internet is a good thing, as much as your parents would say, no, limit internet time. It can be used for good.
Yeah. But from the point of view of an educator such as yourself, your thoughts, please.
Well, information is everywhere, but
Yeah.
you've got things from Wikipedia, dreaded Wikipedia. You've got some people writing there who aren't even proficient. But the question is, where do you get this information from? I mean, I've got textbooks from the United States, from Japan, from everywhere else.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is right? What isn't right? And this is what we do in the Middle Years program. We teach them, there are no textbooks. The information is just one big block of concept. You go out there, you find the information, we'll talk about it, we'll validify it. We'll say, this is written by Professor so-and-so, he's done this research, yes. This is written by Amma, who never has done by microbiology. Maybe not such a good information there. So that's how they actually start thinking about these things. And we started all the way from primary years, and which is why when we started the middle year school, I didn't start with the last 2 years, because they're critical years. We didn't even start with the diploma program yet, because we thought foundations start from the very beginning. Naturally speaking, I still have children coming in at Form 3, Form 2. I call them like bamboo shoots. When you're young, you can mold them into all those intricate designs.
Exactly, absolutely right.
The older we get, at least for me, the harder you bend, you might reach breaking point. So same thing, if you're building a car, when you build a town car, it's efficient, it's good, it's what you want. Then you decide, oh no, you know what, 5 years down the road, I want to make it into a sports car. Let's add on big wheels, let's have new engines, let's have a real thinking system, electronic system. Yeah, it would run, but would it really run well than building it from the very bottom up? See, that's the idea.
Well, we're talking about, of course, building a foundation to raise smart children. But from what I'm garnering here is you want to encourage children how to think. So am I looking at the fact that I could argue comparative theology with an 8-year-old? Is that
absolutely, you will be surprised what they can come up with nowadays. Yes, especially the generation now. They practically hold PDA pockets and they're connected consistent with the internet. The amount of engagement they have on Facebook, it's remarkable. And not only do they engage with last time we just engaged into the Kampung mentality kind of thing. Now they're engaging with the world. So different cultures are melding, different ideas are coming into face.
Barriers are breaking down,
Exactly.
yeah.
And how could a teacher say, I know it all now?
How do people who write the book say, I know it all?
Exactly. So the question is, do you want or dare to say you are teaching a child? See, the concept is rather you are educating them with the skills. Knowledge we can get. You know,
Information's out there, yeah.
Yeah, you read it, you learn it. If you read it 500 times, you're gonna get it. But skills, how do you get skills?
Do you know, you were talking about some concepts that are still very foreign to university students nowadays. You know, giving them the ability to be
Exactly.
like, okay, where can I find this information from rather than, okay, this textbook says this.
Yeah.
Now,
We've got interns with that problem right now, you know?
yeah, you know, I remember my college days,
exactly.
and some of it was quite challenging because of that. Now, we have grown up in a society where our education system, even though we said times have changed, but if you look at the education system, it's pretty much the same from when we were in school. And you know, we're used to some of a certain form of you know, education or teaching system.
Formatted education.
Yes. Now you say that you start from as young as 4 and 5, and encourage children to, you know, choose
Go
and
out there,
decide.
activate, learn, yeah.
Could you please give an example? I'm so curious as to know, you know, how exactly would you do this with a 4 or 5-year-old?
How is it done in fact?
Well, it really, there are two courses you're talking about here. There's the primary years course, and of course there's the middle year course, which I'm predominantly in. Now the primary years course, if you look at it carefully, it really doesn't have subjects per se as specialists. They actually put in what you call inquiry blocks.
Okay.
So what happens in there is they merge all this information and say, you know what, let's talk about cars.
Whoa.
Let's investigate about cars. You know, let's bring in specialists. You question them. You come up with your ideology. We're talking about math. You're talking about science. You're talking about English. If you're taking up, you decide you want to take a second language in Malay. Then you use Malay in that presentation. They go out there and they find the information. They come back. They put it into their own portfolio. That is my learning for the entire talk. That's everything into one. I mean, if you go to you study medicine, you don't go there. Oh, this is biology, and this is mathematics section, this is physics. Oh, no, it's all in one. So they've got their mentality now in the start. They're learning these skills to acquire information. So as you progress up into the middle year section, we're becoming more independent. We're saying, okay, now we're getting you ready for the universities that only want you to get information. So we make it more specific. Now you've got several groups of you know, subjects and so on.
Yeah.
Then what happens is we go into class and we say census. The syllabus says you need to know about the structure of the eye. We start off the class saying, what is LASIK?
Whoa.
You don't even know about the eye, right?
Exactly.
Well, how are you supposed to know what LASIK is?
Exactly.
So inquiry has begun. So children will go, okay, what is this LASIK thing? They'll start Googling, it's got something to do with the eye. So they'll say the LASIK goes through the eye, it hits the retina, so on and so forth. What
What's
is
the
the retina?
retina?
I am learning.
I see.
See, I'm not teaching you anymore. You're actually going out there in a very conniving way. We're forcing you to learn, you see?
Conniving way, I like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. It's a new form. You see, you've heard of the case. You would have parents lamenting at you and saying, oh, my child is actually very smart if he wants to. Does not ring a bell. So, there you
But how
go.
about children who have, well, a deficiency? I wouldn't say deficiency, a physical deficiency, or more like, you know, there's some kids who are mischievous, who reach maturity at a later level, who just want to go to school. I don't want to learn anything, blah, blah. How do you encourage kids like this if it's not regimented?
That is the point. They always say naughty kids are bad in school. I love naughty kids.
Oh, my goodness.
Because they are the very ones that actually go out there. They have the initiative to actually, if I'm not interested in it, why bother? If I want to find something, then they'll go all the way out for it.
Could it be the reason for them being naughty is because they're not receiving the right stimulation
They're
or
not
being challenged in the right way?
Exactly. Most of these children, it's noted that you find problematic children because they have got higher IQs.
High IQs, yes.
So if you got higher IQs, you want something way more challenging.
So like a regimented military school is not the answer.
Exactly. Because they'll be asking you why. Why do I
Exactly.
have to do this?
Exactly.
So-
And of course, the basic teacher will say, because you have to, you're at the school.
If I'm
That's
your
not
parent
good
and
enough.
you have to listen to me.
Right. Of course, it's weird to have that particular argument with an 8-year-old, especially here in Malaysia. But even as someone, or both of us, who've come up through our regimented system,
Yeah,
I
the
can't wrap my head
traditional.
around it. I really cannot wrap my head around it.
So I'm actually quite interested as to how the children are actually graded. You know, one would assume, or during our day, you'd be like, okay, this is the right kind of answer in the teaching manual. That's the wrong
Exactly.
kind of answer.
So
This is their ability to rationalize and to make sense of the subject matter. Are they
Exactly.
graded on that?
Oh, absolutely. We don't use the percentage because answers could be right and could be wrong. We're not really looking. We have that section called knowledge and understanding. That's basic. That's just normal question. But there's so many other skills. Like in science, we're talking about the One World. One World criterion basically talks about the fact that you can actually relate the subject with social issues, ethical issues, economical,
Exactly,
so
yes.
on and so forth. So if they write in their product or in their presentation that much that they have been able to relate using the correct resources, bada bam, you've got the full grade. Now all these are actually written before you even get the assignment, so you are prepped to succeed. We don't give you the answers, but we tell you this is the concept and this is the structure you want. So again, these are the things like community and service. What is acceptable community and service? In our program, in the IB program, you are required to do this community service every single year. So like when we take them out for the last time we went to Bali, whoa, it was
Wow,
great.
okay.
But it was a working trip.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a
working trip to Bali,
trip to
wow.
Bali with children.
All right.
So they actually went to these orphanages, and they actually had a structure. This is what we want to do. This is what we achieve. This is what we're reflections of what we want to do, and therefore it fits the criterion of what is considered a successful community and service. So basically, I no longer assess you on your grade. You essentially can tell me what your grade is before I even give it to you.
Wow.
Why shouldn't that be the way? Why should I be the one to grade you all the way? I can tell you what's correct and what's moderated, but you should be able to tell me as well how well you did. If you don't know how well you did, how can you improve?
Wow. I mean, these are concepts that, to me, it's really too far-fetched for 4-5-year-old,
That's why parents have to come for our parent forums in school. You've got classes too.
For parents as well?
No, how
would that
are parents are responding to this, especially Asian parents? Where we grew up, with rotan
Hey,
and being
your-
caned once in a while.
Your 2 to 12 times table must be here. Your
Exactly.
theorem Pythagoras must be here. I've got my sine, cosine, and